computer.
Ooh, Mike's in charge.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
I'm now consenting to being recorded.
Mm-hmm.
I consent to being recorded as well. I got nothing to lose.
I do not consent.
So, hey guys.
Yeah.
Tonight's episode, since everybody was floundering on wanting to host, I took it. And I thought about our episode last week. Oh, sorry. Look for us on Facebook at the Friends of Zeus podcast. The same goes for Spotify. And YouTube. It's on the Giants Jack channel. But you can also look for it under Friends of Zeus, the Friends of Zeus podcast, and fuck Rumble in the fuck hole. And so,
wait, we're working on Rumble. Just
wait,
bury them.
Zeus, are we really on Spotify yet? Because I saw only 3 of them on there.
Yeah, I'm doing it when I can. I had some issues, but I got them fixed. So as I can, I'll put them in. Okay. But I mean, we're there, so it's good. We'll get there, and I'm gonna start. Tom had a great suggestion about using the oldest ones first. Michael's making an appearance.
It's too early for you, Michael.
Hey, buddy.
You're supposed to show up at like halfway through. All right, buddy. Okay, go to bed.
Well, Tom said he had something to say too, so let's not forget that before we get started.
Oh, well. So I'll tell about the show and then we'll go to your story. So we did last week, what would you tell your past self, where you guys said I wasn't a downer, but I felt like a downer.
I thought it was great.
So thinking about that, I thought this week would be a good one for our bucket list. You know, we talked about the last 50 in a lot of our cases, except for Mike. He's just a young buck. So I thought we might talk about the next 5. And we'll do bucket list.
Since we're 95 of the way through our life, 95%.
Oh, I'm 8/10 at bare minimum 8/10.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not going to go with half my life. I'm frightened that it's much closer than I want it to.
Do you really want to get old, Zeus?
Well,
it's too late.
I have a lot of smart ass comments, but this is all being recorded, so I'll keep that. So I would like to get old with the right circumstances. Sure.
We're going to tell you why we want to get old, Jack. That's the point of the show. We're going to tell you.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, that's why I couldn't come up with anything.
My bucket list is to die soon. How's life treating you? It's taking forever. So, who wants to go first?
Well, yeah, rattle off one.
Well, you got to set us up. What are we doing?
What's my number one? Yeah, we'll do our number ones. We'll go through those. And
Didn't Tom have something to say first?
Oh, yes. Give us your anecdote.
I had a quick, funny anecdote if I could share it. Do you guys get those political like flyers in the mail, the little postcards with who to vote for, that kind of stuff?
Every once in a blue moon.
Really? Well, we're getting a lot of them. I think me and Zeus probably are getting barraged with them here in Virginia.
I get them now.
So I got one the other day. It was funny because I was like reading it and I was agreeing with everything. Here in Virginia, you got Youngkin is running for governor against McAuliffe. And it was saying, well, Youngkin, he's against, children wearing masks in schools. And Youngkin is against the vaccine mandates. And Youngkin is, in favor of free speech, and he's against censorship. And I was like, man, I agree with everything on here. So I looked down at the fine print, and it said, paid for by the Democratic Committee for Terry McAuliffe. It was supposed to be a negative ad. Well, agreed with. I was like, man, this is great. This guy sounds great.
This guy sounds very reasonable. I can get behind this guy. Where do I send my money?
Something's wrong when you agree with everything in the negative ad. So I just thought that was odd.
I'm just done with politics, man. I mean, yes, let's talk about it, but we're talking about ideals. We're not talking about the way it is, or most likely the way it's going to be. It's just going to be a version that we hope we can get to. But anyway, I'm not going to get You started, Mike.
Can I say one thing? It's not about the, but Tom, if there's any way to adjust your mic, you sound a little bit like a Cylon
Oh, am I too
from
close?
Battlestar Galactica.
Cylon.
Is this better if I'm a little bit further back?
I think so. I'll let you know. And it's not horrible. It's just, I didn't know if it was like an
It's not too
adjustment.
loud.
No, that's
Turn it down
just
a
his
little
voice.
Wait, Mike, are you talking about the 70s Cylons?
Oh yeah.
However, the new Cylons were pretty damn badass too.
They weren't as cool.
I
Nah,
never
that was a
saw
great show, man.
I never saw the new one.
Oh, it's spectacular.
So I got to tell you something real quick. In the new one,
Okay.
and I don't remember which episode, but there's an episode where they stumble upon a ship of old Cylons that never knew that the previous war had ended.
I remember,
So it's
yeah.
the new Battlestar Galactica people versus the old Cylons, and they're horrible. But it's the actual suits and all that. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. It's fantastic.
That series was kind of a hidden gem. If you didn't see it, you should. If you saw it, you loved it.
The first
Starbuck
three
was
seasons
great.
were spectacular.
All the
Wow.
artistic license they took, like Starbuck was different, Moffat wasn't in it. Like a lot of the characters were just a little bit different than the original series, and it was just they were right. It
And
was
it's
just
also
done well.
it's one of the few series I've ever seen where the first episode was the best episode of every episode. Like it never
13
got
minutes?
33. Yeah.
33, yes. So
Just a stunning.
and then we'll get started with the bucket list. So Jack, here's the first episode in a nutshell. They have to jump through hyperspace every 33 seconds. If they
33
don't,
minutes.
the Cylons are going to decimate them.
33 minutes.
33 minutes. So the whole first episode is just this nail biting. How are they going to do it? They're running out of energy, or
Fuel.
dilithium crystals, whatever.
Mhm.
But it's a masterpiece of.
It's a standalone classic. Like
one
you
of-
don't even need
yes.
to watch the rest of the series. Like you could just watch that one show. Anyway,
But the rest of the series is amazing.
Check it out.
Adama is Edward James Olmos, and he nails it. Like it's just a great show. Anyway, so back to bucket list. So one of my first ones, I don't know if this is my number one, but for me, what I really want to do, and it's definitely on my bucket list, and if there's one that I'm gonna do that's achievable, I just want to do that, like bike across Europe or walk the Appalachian Trail. I want to do something where I just go on a walkabout, just go, don't turn back. Wherever I end up, great, and just, not quite into the wild. I'm not trying to die doing it or anything. I'll keep my cell phone with me, but but just for me, I don't know. I guess I just watched enough of these travel movies where people do that, and to me, it just seems like such an adventure, and it's safe. Like if you do the Appalachian Trail, it's a trail. I mean, you can map it out. You can keep it safe. I'm about the walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the bike ride. And for me, I think that would be such an amazing thing to do.
Yeah.
But that's one of mine. So boring or not, I don't know.
Nice.
But I think that would be just a freaking blast.
No, I'm
Bring
sure
a bottle of Woodford Reserve.
Finish it on the first night.
Yeah.
And when would
but
you
that's-
do that?
but
Would you have
but
to
see, that's the
retire
other thing.
to do that,
I'm
or
sorry?
just like take 2 weeks off?
I'd like to take a month.
Mhm.
And like, you know what, honestly, this is going to sound selfish. Well, no, I would do it with the boys. But it's a guy's thing. This is not whether I'm fighting with the wife or anything like that. This is just something I'm not doing. I know this sounds bad. I'm not doing it with a woman because I'm doing this from a guy's perspective. Like,
We want them all to come back. We don't want like a Gabby Patino sort of hike going on.
well, but
No.
so here's the thing. I want to go, and if one day we say, God, we walked so much yesterday, let's just chill here. I want to do that, and that's something you can only do with guys. A guy would be like, yeah, you know what? Let's get shit faced today and just chill and cook some sausage, do some hot dogs, whatever, and we'll camp out today.
So
No urgency. I want to do something that I think that's part of it, is like I just want to do something with no urgency. No, the end game is you get where you get.
It's the doing it is the point. It's not the destination, kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
it's the journey, not the destination. Yeah.
So I've never
stories.
hiked the Appalachian Trail, but there's a place that we go camping every year and have for years. It's in Pine Grove Furnace State Park in Pennsylvania, and it is like the halfway point of the Appalachian Trail between Georgia and Maine. So it has some notoriety, but when we're camping there's people that are hiking through, so you get to see them, and they stand out in a crowd because they tend to be pretty lean. They've got the walking poles, they've got the backpacks that are like tight
Massive.
and professional, like they're not like huge sacks or anything, and you can tell that they are walking quite a ways. Well, there's a general store there like at the halfway point, and they have this tradition where if you stop there, you buy a half gallon of ice cream, and if you can eat it in like 12 minutes, it's free. And so we go to the general store. This was just this past August, and there's this guy with this big dog, and he's just like sleeping on the bench, and probably like in his 20s or something like that, and he's out cold. And like we go there, and we got something to eat, and he finally woke up, and he had eaten like he had done it. And he just slept for like 2 hours. Like after he ate, he just, like a snake, just eating this half gallon. Anyway, you can tell there's people that do the Appalachian Trail that are like, it's a serious thing. Like there's people that basically live on the trail, and then there's people that they pick up a certain point and just do like the Maryland section, or they just do the Pennsylvania section. But
it's gotta be great.
There's a lot of books written on it. Yeah.
I think that's a hell of a bucket list thing. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do that with like you guys. That would be a fucking blast. And like I said, you know what? Somebody starts crying about not want to go any further. All right, we stop here.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind just camping with you guys in one spot.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We should really not quit talking about it and really do it.
You got to recruit Darcy again.
He's welcome back anytime he wants, but I'm not begging him to come back.
No. You know what I mean. He had the buddy with the place.
We should find a place that's central, like Southern Pennsylvania would be good.
Henlopen.
Good spots.
Henlopen would be good.
Where are you saying, Jack?
Henlopen.
Just invite Darcy back long enough to use his land for camping, and then we'll kick him out.
This is all being recorded.
And then just jettison him.
But even he's not listening.
Darcy is on a walkabout right now. He'll be back.
I'm just clarifying what Jack said.
So who's up?
Yeah,
who's next? I like that one. That's a good one.
So okay, you know what? I'm running the show. It's my kitchen. Mike, what's your first one you want to talk about?
Well, one, I was laughing when you said take a walk or a walkabout, because I think 4 out of 5 of mine involve traveling. So, I mean, again, in no particular order. I mean, I'll start with this behind me. I mean, I like a lot of I like Ancient Aliens, the TV show. Like, I love watching it. Zeus and I talk about this. So, but one of these places in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, which is behind me, it's the
use real names.
No, that's what it's called. It's in Turkey. So it was discovered in 1963. One of these
1963 or
one of these things here, like just the very top of it was peeping up out of the ground. And in 1995, because there was all these negotiations and they knew it was something, they didn't start excavating it till 1995. And now they've excavated about 5% of it. And it is considered to be the oldest monolithic site on Earth, way outdating Stonehenge and everything else, like 10 to 12,000 years old or so. And there's all sorts of carvings and writings on it. I mean, it's definitely a sophisticated, intelligent society that, put these things together. And as far as our knowledge of human history is concerned, it's off the map. Like it's something that it shouldn't be there. It just shouldn't be there. So anyway, and it's kind of a placeholder because I'd also like to go to Machu Picchu and the Great Pyramids and all that stuff.
Definitely.
I would start with Göbekli Tepe. So
how do you spell that?
GobelkliTepe.
Mike, where is it?
In Turkey.
I got it.
Oh, in Turkey.
Yeah.
Who you calling Turkey?
And there was a guy, he just died in like 2014. He was the one that started excavating it. He was a German.
Is it a curse?
I'm sorry. No, it wasn't a curse, but he actually moved his family there, like built a house. Like he just made this his like full-time job, but they're still deciphering. There's so much they don't know. There are these concentric rings around two center pillars, and they're everywhere, and they're all over, like built into this mountain. So they don't know if they were purposely buried.
Are there any like renderings of what it would look like when it was?
Yeah, if you go online,
because it looks like it's broken apart, right?
Some of it's broken apart, but some of it's not. I mean, some of it's very much intact. And again, the carvings and the things, there are like things like lizards and animals that we know, and then there's things that like we have no idea what they are, that are like mixed in among these things.
Allow me to interrupt for a second. Tom, you sound like an ancient alien. You got to do something with your mic.
Oh boy.
But it would be kind of a placeholder just to go any of these like ancient sites, I mean,
Easter Island's one for me. But that they found out that those things, like they thought forever that they were just what you saw, like, a little bit under. And now it turns out that they go like 40 feet down to under the ground, and they got these huge penises.
I don't know if they have that.
No, actually they're tiny. That was the weird thing.
Oh,
huge heads, tiny penises. No, but I'd love to see Easter Island, but penises aside, they do go like 40 feet underground, from what I understand. Like I guess they weren't messing with them forever, and they're not trying to disturb them or whatever. But apparently they go quite far. I just thought that was because they thought they were like like it was impossible for them to be made. That's the story with a lot of these. Impossibly made at the time, and must be something else. The pyramids, they've kind of basically said that dragging them across the sand made them flat.
Well, there's, like I said, that one of the things that it's like a thought thing, but we're, as human beings, politics, history, archaeology, whatever, we're very arrogant. Like we think that we have everything figured out, and I really like exploring things that are still questions, because there's not as many as there used to be, but there's still plenty of things that we haven't figured everything out. I mean, there's still stuff out there that we can't explain, and it's cool to think about that stuff.
Yeah, I like in a lot of these stories too. It's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie either. But there's this Sean Connery movie with Lorraine Bracca. I think it was called Medicine Man.
Yes.
Marathon Man.
No, it's Medicine Man.
No, Medicine.
That's Dustin Hoffman, you boob.
I thought he looked like Dustin.
But Medicine Man was they were trying to find like a cure for cancer or something, and it's all fictitious, but it reminded me of a lot of these things that can't be explained. And then they found out they cured somebody, and they couldn't repeat it, and then they found out that it was like ants or something that had gotten into the mix, because the ants were in the same place that they were getting one of the key elements. But that always reminds me of those things. It's like we're missing something. It doesn't mean that it's mysterious or it's aliens. It's just something that we don't understand, so we automatically make it mystic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but yeah, the Medicine Man had one of the greatest lines of all movies by Sean Connery.
Was it about Lorraine Bracca's ass? I think it was.
I don't know what he said about that.
I just know they showed it a lot. What was the line?
No, he said something like, "I found the fucking cure for the plague of the 20th century, and I've lost it."
That's not a bad Sean Connery.
Not bad. Not terrible.
You just got to move your bottom jaw around.
I've lost it.
Oh, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
See, I do a Picard that I think is pretty good. Number one, make it so.
That's pretty good.
I don't know how I do it.
What is that?
But I named it.
Whoa!
There was a
Whoa!
alien just popped in there. What was
Dude,
that?
Zeus, back up. Some guy just leered over your shoulder.
Is this the Halloween episode?
Zeus, that was awesome.
That was.
Well, it was because I was.
Was that a TV?
Yeah, there's a TV behind me. It's a
You
hockey game.
can't. No, you
It's
can't do it
hockey.
again because it was the ants.
It was the ants.
It was the ant.
See?
It was a perfect mix. It's not mystic. It's just circumstance. All right, Jack, what's your bucket list? Number one, or the first one you want to talk about?
Well, I had a couple of travel ones too, so I'll go with one of them. Zeus, this is kind of in line with yours. I would love to take like a month off and travel the United States. Just go.
Yeah. I didn't
Just-
have a necessary like a.
Like I know I want to go swim in the Pacific because I've never seen it,
Mhm.
and I'd like to at least see it, but I'd like to swim in it.
Where?
The Pacific Ocean, and I'd like to stop in a lot of states and find landmarks, like not like Wally World and the Griswolds. I don't want to see the largest ball of yarn.
That's your loss.
I know, but you know what? I've dreamed about it so much. I think I feel like I've been there. But no, I think the Appalachian Trail would be great. I think going to the Great Lakes, swimming in one of those would be great. Going to see Red Rocks.
Red Rocks is great. I've been there, man. It's so nice.
I think it'd be fun to like eat some of the notable foods from different places.
Mhm.
And if I can do it like in an RV or an Airstream, then I would do that. Like if I'm totally retired, like, and I've got like a month to do it, and maybe bring the grandkids for some of it, I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be like, when we're old, what are you doing physically? Like, I mean, like, you're gonna have limitations, but in terms of what you see and what you absorb and what you hear, I think travel is a good way to do it, just to get out of your safe space and go meet other people.
That's kind of where I'm at. I didn't necessarily have I said Europe because Europe would be nice, and Appalachian Trail is a good go-to. But yeah, Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore.
If you can hit America, man, you could do like a big circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's just as kind of I'm kind of joking, but it's kind of serious. When we picture it in our heads, it's like in a month we're gonna traverse. We're gonna walk to. We're not gonna make it to Tennessee from Virginia. We're gonna make it like 100 miles. We're gonna, fuck this! I want to go home. Where's my Xbox? But
walking is hard. Yeah.
But I want to do it. It's one of the ones that that one's probably my core one. I mean, yeah, that and a 3-way. Any takers? No, I'm just kidding.
I gotta say this just because it was it wasn't that recent. It was like maybe like 10 years ago. But my wife and I went out to we did a trip in Arizona to Grand Canyon. And I'm not well traveled. Like this was, I've been to California. My sister used to live out there, but never like sightseeing type things. And we spent like 11 days just going around, and everyone's like, you got to go to the Grand Canyon. And it is like that Chevy Chase movie, Vacation, where it's like, you look at it, you're like, okay, let's go. Like, and I was like, no, listen, let's sit here. And so we sat on the edge for like 45 minutes. And here's the weird thing. It's like 10 miles. We were on the southern rim, and it's like 10 miles across to the northern rim. And
Did you just Zeke Heil us?
No. I don't know. What is it? I see what?
It's 10 miles.
No, it's like 10 miles across. And I sat there.
You fucking Nazi.
Yeah, 10 miles. And that'll be the screen grab. So
yeah, we don't need a thumbnail this week.
We don't need a thumbnail.
Hey Tom, can you save that and put it as our thumbnail this week?
So anyway, there's a real quick point. I don't want to, But here's the thing that amazed me the most. One, yes, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But I sat there and I looked, I picked a point and I looked. And you know how like if you have a camera and the depth of field expands, like you can turn the thing and you can see further. It took like 10 minutes, but I just kept staring and like my eye just kept focusing and focusing and then I started to get a sense of like how far that is. If you just glance, it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of far away. But if you, it was so clear and so far that the more you looked, the more you would see, like the further you could see and start making out more. It was bizarre. I've never been on a spot on the planet where I could look 10 miles away and see things. It was nuts. I mean, at 7 miles, you start having like, don't you have a curvature of the earth start to influence it?
And it's funny you said that.
No, Michael Gray says no.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna do a callback to one of our previous episodes and say, if you're pointing a laser 6 feet above
I'm just saying, at the Grand Canyon. And here's this is the last thing I'll say about that trip. Here's the thing that blew my mind. We went to Monument Valley, and Jack will appreciate. Well, everyone likes.
Were there any monuments there?
Yes, but you can drive. It's Indian land, right? Indigenous people land. It's not owned by the state.
Native American,
whatever. And
dude, no one can keep track.
You can drive through it. There's a road. You can take your car. We had a convertible Mustang we rented, and they're just okay. Here you go, boom. And you're driving through the Mittens and right where Stagecoach was from in your car, like just for like a few miles around the place. I was like, this seems like we shouldn't be able to do this. You're like off road,
like a little sacrilegious, or
it seemed like you shouldn't be able to do that, but it was fascinating. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just
that was good. That was great.
We
got to do a Michael Gray callback.
If you go to the South Rim, and there's like Native Americans that are kind of governing. So you drive in there and then you just run into this guy kind of gives you the house sign. There was your ghost again. What was that?
Stop.
We're getting so banned now.
And he's wearing like one of those orange vests and he's got like a little clipboard and he stops each car and you give him $5 and then you keep going. And I'm like, does he work here or he's just like a random Native American that just stops every car and collects money?
Like a
I think they keep track of how many people. But the funny thing, you drive in there. There's no rails, or you could just drive right into the canyon if you weren't watching what you were doing.
Have you been to the Grand Canyon, Jack?
No.
These lucky sons of bitches. I'd love to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind checking it out.
We stayed in a Hogan. A Hogan is like a earthen dome thing, whatever. It's like
an adobe.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It's like a dirt igloo.
It's like a dirt igloo.
That's what it is.
And I'll tell you what. See the starscape behind me? See the starscape behind me? That's what the sky looks like out there. And to this day, it's the most beautiful sky I've ever seen. The nights that we were out there, like you look up and that's exactly what it looks like at night.
It's hilarious you say that.
No light pollution.
I've been to Smith Mountain Lake a couple times, and that's the closest I've been to like really seeing what the sky looks like. Because I've just always been city bound, even on the beaches in Florida, your light pollution is ridiculous. Yeah. But you go to Smith Mountain Lake, you can like read by starlight.
That's what Maine is like too.
But the funniest thing about all this is I didn't know you could see the Milky Way from Earth until somebody told me you can like actually see it. Like and I was just like, nah, that's not true. You're talking nonsense. So I want to get out there.
You're just saying stuff.
We just say stuff. By the way, we're getting those t-shirts.
Yeah, man.
But yeah. So Tom, what's yours?
All right. Mine is my first one is kind of a triple header because I don't want to like spread these out all over the list. So this is what I want. I want to live long enough to see this. I want my kids to all graduate college, all three of them, get married, and have the grandkids. I want to make it to that point. So hopefully in that order. I don't want like a 15-year-old daughter having a baby. So college, married, grandkids. If I can see all of that, that's on my list.
Absolutely, man.
Yes.
That's on my list.
Thank
Yep.
you.
I
I
want
got
to see
bad
all
news for you,
Tom's
Tom.
kids get married and graduate college. And no, I mean, I want to see my kid get married and graduate college.
I'm just gonna hit you with some reality, Tom. Mommy clearly has poor taste in men, so you probably will have a 15-year-old daughter that has a child.
Disaster, man. What disaster.
Just saying.
No.
And statistically, one of your boys will probably be gay.
Well,
that's like 10%.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
It'd be
It's
okay.
better than being
Statistically, it's not gonna work.
non-binary.
Well, I've got 4 boys, so chances are one of them, is a little light in the loafers, as they say.
You sound like you're going to be really accepting of that too, Jack.
Oh, totally. I don't care. I'll just say, just choose partners wisely.
Yeah, man. It's all good.
Be a top. Don't be a power bottom.
But yeah, Tom, I'm with you, man. It was actually the first thing I wrote. I was like, see my daughter grow up, be at peace, and if she has grandkids, get to meet grandkids.
Yeah,
like that.
See,
I think it's pretty much
I struggled with a 5th one because some things seem inevitable, but I boiled it down to be able to see one of my grandchildren go to one of my grandchildren's wedding.
There you go.
You're so pushing it out there, man.
Yeah,
I know I'm pushing.
Oh wait,
well,
grandkids. Wait, okay, yeah, that's way out there.
I've survived a whole lot, Mike. I'm not sure if I die.
Gotcha. That's cool, man. No, hey, man, that's fantastic. I think
there can be only one Highlander.
That's right. There's only one.
I want to be like, I want to see one of my grandkids make it to 100 years old. That's what I want to see.
That's a little selfish.
Yeah, that was my initial jot down, but I edited it.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna be bold and say I'll settle for seeing a grandkid.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Well, that's
not
and then
greedy.
handing them back.
See, that doesn't. The reason I was on the fence about it was because, and that's why I kind of made it a specific thing, because that just seems like inevitable force of nature. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of like writing down, I hope I don't drop dead.
Well, no, because you have to hang on. You have to have something to live for. So if that's on your list,
right?
Hang on.
I knew I was forgetting something.
That's what I'm not going to give up until this happens. That sort of thing.
In other words, I won't drop dead.
Okay.
Here's something to think about.
I flounder on that. Sometimes I want to, sometimes I don't.
What? Drop dead?
Drop dead.
Drop dead.
There's always time, dude. There's plenty of time to be dead. There's not as much time to be alive. But here's the thing. Think about this. Living. So think about your grandparents, right? Or if you were your great grandparents.
They were around.
And they were around. But they probably felt the same way. I mean, they were thrilled to see us, right?
You, yeah.
So it's like interesting having that perspective now because you don't have it. I remember my dad's father. He died in the 80s, but I was the second youngest of like 23 first cousins or something like that. So by the time I came along, he was like, okay, here's another one, right? So I remember going to visit him one time, and he went in the closet to get like the box of toys that he had in his house to like give to the grandkid, when they came over. And I was like, this was probably like late 70s, and they were all like from the 60s or 50s. It was like blocks, and I'm like, dude, where's the Star Wars figures? Like, it was all from my previous cousins. Like, it was so out of date, but he was like, here's the box of toys. I'm like, that's not what we're into, man. Come on.
Anyway. Where's the Battlestar Galactica figure?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly.
I had those, by the way.
The Battlestar Galactica
I had
toys?
all that stuff, yeah. Dream Machine was my go-to when I was a kid. I love that thing.
That thing was cool.
Who's up next?
Was so awesome.
We're back to you, Zeus.
Sorry.
So I'll go with my number 2. I guess my number 2 would. You guys took the grandkids one. I was going to do that, but man, part of my bucket list. I'd like to write a book.
Yeah, that's on mine too.
Something in the sci-fi genre. I've just, or maybe not write some. I want to create something that I can share with other people, and they can love it, hate it. I don't care. You know, this is kind of literature. What we're doing. It's you know, it's.
What? Where are you guys?
Yes, but podcasts in general, it's the equivalent of like the ancients passing on stories through the ages. If this survives, something that we're talking about will move forward, you know, through the years. And we may not think it's brilliant or anything now, but something we say or do will match somebody else's thinking. We'll give them peace or give them insight. Tom and I were talking about it earlier, that because again, I still stick to it. I'm thinking of getting us a website, because I think we should have one, you know, so if we're ever censored, we've got a place to go and we can just do our own thing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
yeah.
We were talking about it, and I was like, all of us have little pieces of brilliance that we've thrown out that are away from our politics and away from our, you know, our own personal dogmas. It's just some of those little pieces of knowledge that we've gained that transcend, you know, our belief systems, or whether we agree with each other or not, you know, just things that will pass on. And I want to do that in some fashion. I don't know, doesn't have to be a book. I just want to create something that other people can gain from.
The Great American Novel, man. It's
not even that. A relatively decent comic book would be fine.
But I'm saying, I'm just saying this idea. I mean, here's the thing, and we did this in the last episode, and it was my big takeaway, which I thought was very, very interesting when we were talking about our younger selves, like how we all kind of agreed that was such a transitional time. And of course, it is on its face. I mean, you know, it's like, yeah, you're 18, you're kind of not a kid, you're not an adult anymore. But I find it interesting that we're all kind of hitting on the same kind of things with this as well. I mean, everything you guys have said, I've been like, oh yeah, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's why sometimes I don't worry about the political bullshit that's going on now. I back to what we were saying earlier, I kind of feel like, you know, it's probably going to be all right. I think our parents felt the world was blowing up on them too. And I know, Mike, I can already see your eyes looking up, and you're like, no, this is the worst time in history.
It's not the worst time in history. It's
no, but you know what I mean?
It.
Yeah, like World War II was probably the worst. The Depression was probably worse. People eat now, and if you really want to eat, you can eat. Somebody will feed you. We're in a better world. And we may not, you know, like I said, like we said before, we may not agree with everything, and our perspective is that of 50-year-old men, not 20-year-old people that are idealistic. We decided this is where I'm going to go. For us to change a great deal is not probably in the cards, you know, but we also come from a really great generation of very adaptable people. You know, Gen X, I'll stick by that all day long. We're one of the greatest generations that was there. Fuck the 70s.
Did you realize you have some ancient monoliths on your t-shirt in the background?
Yes, that is from the Division Bell, Pink Floyd. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you pan down on the shirt, you can see that they have really small penises.
And they're jerking off in the hall. All right, so who's number, Mike? You're number 2.
I'm let's see. Let me find the background. So this one, it sounds kind of silly, but anyway, I'm really into planes. Like, I really like planes. And do you
want to fly on the wing of one from Kabul, Afghanistan?
No. So when I was a kid, I used to fly model.
I see one of those fellas jumping off right there.
I'm hanging on here.
Go like this.
So
wait, is that Southwest Airlines? Those are all.
This is Lufthansa.
Okay. That's
But
a
no,
theme
I've
tonight.
always loved planes. I don't know why. I just have ever since I can remember. And so I've never flown on a 747. And I don't know how much you guys know about planes, but 747's like it's in a class of its own of its own. I mean, pilots call it the queen of the skies, blah blah blah. So I always thought throughout my life, well, one day I'd like to be on a 747. Unbeknownst to me, like 10 years ago, they started phasing these buggers out. The last ones rolled off the assembly line like years ago. And you can't, no domestic US carriers even have them in their inventory anymore. Like the only, I think it's Korean Air, a KLM, and Lufthansa, and maybe a handful of others still fly them as a passenger jet. There's other companies that use them as cargo jets and everything. So I'm trying to look in. Lufthansa flies in and out, and so does KLM fly in and out of Dulles. So I'd be like the only person getting on a plane. Like I don't even care where I'm going. Like maybe I got to go to Göbekli Tepe, but I want to fly on one of these things because they're just so. To me, they're just like a beautiful aircraft, and I'd love to be on one. So it's a very simple one, but it's a doable one. I mean,
Yeah,
it shouldn't take that much to do.
I think these are all doable so far,
Yeah.
except for the
Yeah, you
living
can
long
combine it.
enough to
Yeah.
see grandkids.
That's a
Combine
good
it with
point.
the trip to Turkey.
Yeah, I was joking, but you're right. Combine them. Like people I know who fly overseas, they come back. I'm like, what was the airplane? Was it a Airbus 380? We're like, I don't freaking know, man.
Oh, you know.
You don't know.
Here's my ticket, Mike. Go nuts.
Yeah, it's like that's the best part of the flight. I love like finding out about the plane, and I mean, I look up the tail numbers when I get on a plane. Like, I take a picture of it when I'm getting on the plane, like waiting in the airport, and then like I look it up on my phone.
Yeah, Mike checks the Carfax on the plane.
Exactly, man. You can look up the tail numbers and find out like when it was manufactured and their service.
We
I'm
might
on
have
the
been
other
on
side
one
of the
Zeus.
spectrum. I usually check and see when the last time that airline had a plane crash.
That's good to know.
I
We've
check
been on
my
one
odds.
Zeus on all these trips to Poland because we've done a lot of Lufthansa. I know we
Yeah.
have. So
you may have been on
I
one.
mean, I don't know if it was.
I
a
might have been, but
747.
I was like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just
It's a
saying.
plane.
Anyway, so
I
that's
don't want to
mine.
be on the plane to begin with.
The point is, it was something I thought that would always be available, and then it was like, what? Like United and American Airlines, they were like, "Yep, we retired our last 747." I was like, "Wait, what?" There's like, what are you talking about? You used to be able to take them across the country.
Yeah, I'd like to do that, but I'd like to do it with a C-130.
That would be cool too.
That would be pretty cool.
So anyway,
I thought you were gonna say you wanted to like fly a plane.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
that would be. Now I would like to do that, but being on one, the only plane I've ever flown was a glider, and I didn't know what I was doing, and it was a lot of fun. But I mean, I fly RC planes. I know. I would be one of those guys. Like if we were on a plane and they needed someone to fly it, and there's no pilot, I think I could do pretty well.
Fly a plane? Where's the
No, because I know what to do. Like I know. I think I
can land this thing.
I can figure it out.
I don't know. There's a lot of buttons in the cockpit.
I know.
Wait, let me
This
change
is
the
way
batteries.
more than I was expecting.
Yeah. You just hit the guy next to you, he blows up and he takes over that part, like airplane.
Yeah, wash, rinse, spin.
Michael go, I'll fly the plane. They'll be like, Shirley, you're kidding. And it'll be like, no, I'm not kidding. And stop calling me Shirley.
We're all counting on you.
Yeah,
Right.
the plane goes down. I'm going to be like, Tommy, have you ever seen a grown man naked?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like gladiator movies?
I
That's
love
it.
that movie. They better know if they remake that. I'm gonna burn down the fucking studio that does it.
No, they would put a
needs to be
laugh
left
track in it today. They would ruin it. They'd put a laugh track in it if they did it today.
Yeah, don't fuck with airplane.
No.
I have certain limits that I will not let be crossed.
Look, if you
All right,
can't-
Tommy, you're number 2.
I think Jack.
No, Jack's next.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was going to mention another travel one, but because Zeus brought it up and we're on the same page, I would like to at some point in my life, because it's happened before and I've got a lot of stuff jotted down that I just kind of abandoned. I'd like to be a published author at some point.
Mm.
You know, even if it's one book.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And
on my
that's
list
just-
too.
And that's a
I
matter
think-
of sitting down, doing some product that I'm happy with and busting my ass to get it out there. There's a lot of different publishers now. You
And
know,
we
so-
live in a world where you can get out there. You can type it and throw it right on the computer and
You can
fucking
self-publish it.
yeah,
toss it into the wind.
that's one way to do it, but I would definitely try to market it first, try to get an agent and all that stuff. And then if I had to do the ebook thing or the you know, I talked to our friend John about how to get it done. You know, I'm curious to see how that's going too. I wish we had him on, but yeah, that's something I want to do. It's been a lifelong thing that I wanted to do when I was 18. And
Yeah, back when we used to talk about stories, trying
Yeah.
to
I
do
used to-
something.
I used to write a lot back then.
Yeah, we were trying to do one that was kind of Predator meets vampires or something. Do you remember that?
No, I remember though that you wanted me to do like a fantasy one with and we plotted it all out. We had like the different races, you know, the trolls and the elves and the knights and all that stuff. And it was, you know, obviously very Lord of the Rings. But I remember us doing it. We had the map plotted out. We drew the map out. Like we were
right.
we were a couple of dorks. And then
That's awesome.
And Zeus used to read this doorstop collection. It was like a Game of Thrones book collection. I forget.
It
what
was and I've read it like 3 times. You're talking about Dragonlance.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
all,
it had
all I
to be
know,
that.
all I know is it was out in the early 90s and you had
Yeah.
read it. And you were like, you gave me the first book. You're like, you got to read it. And I got like 100 pages into it. I'm like, Zeus, this isn't my jam. You know, I'm sitting there with like 2 Stephen King books that are this big each. And I'm like, this is what I'm reading.
That's fine. That's fine. We can't all like my shit.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm doing
we also
Carol
used to like
Carr and
write
some-
songs. Remember, we try and write songs.
Yeah, we were a couple of dorks.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
we really didn't meet any of those lofty goals, did we?
No, we both settled down.
Yeah. That really is kind of along the lines of the bucket list, more like fuck it list. We didn't give a shit. We were
Yeah.
drinking.
Well,
We
now, yeah, but that's the whole circle of life. Is now we should be back to the fuck it list.
Well, you go.
Exactly.
I mean, they say like writing and being a cook, you know, it's the same thing. Like if you want to be a writer, then write.
You know,
If
right?
you want to be a cook, then cook. You know, like
Right.
you got to just do it. You got to wake up and do it.
Yeah, you got to shut the phone off and shut off the devices except for the blank screen. That's
Okay,
why.
That's
except-
what this is. I mean, that's what this podcast. I mean, this is like a creative outlet.
Yeah,
I
it is.
think.
It is. Well, you know
I've
what?
lost.
I,
Go
I
ahead.
look at it, it's conversation. It's like a nice weekly conversation with guys that are around the same age we're all fathers, you know, 5 dads yakking.
Nice try.
Oh, I gotta go out. And come back in. Hang on.
What happened? What's going on?
I'll be right back. Talk amongst yourselves.
Hey, why don't we yak amongst ourselves? How about that? Just us 3 guys yakking.
Like that was his original suggestion for the
Stupid.
name of the show. Was 5 Dads Yakking.
5
Remember?
guys yakking. Is that like throwing up?
5
Or
Dads
what,
Yakking.
what is yakking? It's like,
Man. Yeah,
It's on his bucket list to do a podcast called
Called 5
Dads.
dads yakking. That's right.
But he's got to find 4 other guys that like that.
We almost checked it off his bucket list for him, but no, we squashed it. Now he's still got to like work on that.
You might get up to 2 guys yakking, and one of them's going to be an idiot.
5 yaks quacking, man. Like,
Well,
what?
no. Well, think
more
about
like
it.
5 guys whacking.
No. Think about it. Think about it. We already lost Darcy, and Jason's never around.
Yeah, man, I want a job like
that.
that.
Because of Mike, not me.
It's not me, man. Yeah, where is Jason, man? He's a busy guy, man.
He said he was tired of you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another one bites the dust, Mike.
I do think we need to get a 5th guy because we're getting too comfortable. 5 guys.
We get another tattoo here on my shoulder, like little X through it.
Yeah, as people leave, we'll just put X's on our little wheel of hosts.
Oh my goodness, man.
That was good stuff. I might listen to this one later.
Yeah, fuck you. How about hit like?
Go yak yourself.
It's only the
Right
4 of
back.
us will enjoy it.
Take your ball and go home, you pansy.
I'll go ahead and say ditto to Jack's thing for my next bucket.
What, you wanna name
Because
the
I had on
podcast
my
5
list,
Guys
Write the
Yakking?
Great American Novel, and Mike had mentioned it earlier. I think a lot of us want to do that. You know, I've got that creative bone in my body that I'm still trying to get out there. Great American Novel, and just try to get it up on Amazon.
Right.
Whoa, you said Zoom quit.
That's still
It
recording.
says you started
You're
screen
sharing the
sharing.
screen.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
blank. There.
No, it was a video of the Earth rotating, so I'm not gonna mess with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think those GIFs are a little weird to do.
Okay.
Are we on
Okay,
number
so
3?
my,
we got to pick it up a little bit. 'Cause-
my number 3
I think this is number
is I've
4.
got this amazing
It's like
guitar.
Ghost again.
got
Ghost
this
face is there.
Oh, I've actually shown you the guitars. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, that's not it. I've got this amazing guitar, and what I'd like to do is like really learn to play, because I like singing. I love singing, and I'd like to just be able to jam. And this guitar, it's a travesty that it's not being played by anybody, because Jack's actually played it. It's just as good as it ever was. It's a Taylor 720. This is like, it's the Cadillac of acoustic guitars.
That's a
So
good
that's
one.
my number 3. I'd love to.
I'd actually like, I've got a guitar and I haven't played it in so long. I don't know if I even remember how to play it, but I would
Same
like,
here.
I keep
Do you
thinking
still have
about
that
getting
black
it out.
Fender, Jack?
Oh, no, my kids have that one. I've got another Epiphone acoustic here, but I'm like Tom. It's been so long that when I pick it up, like I can remember a few chords, but I can't land my fat fingers on them anymore like I used to.
Right. Yeah. You
And,
don't have the calluses anymore on your fingers.
No, I don't have the calluses anymore. And I've kind of given up on the guitar at this point. I'm 50 and I'm like, I'm not starting a garage band anytime soon. And
Friends of Zeus debut album.
If I got together with friends and it was electric and I could just do bar chords like punk rock, I could totally pass that. Or play bass on it. I could definitely still do that. Like you can learn songs by tablature really fast if it's just bar chords. But as far as like open chords and sliding down on the high notes, like the way you have to configure your fingers, in order to like add a little ska, that kind of thing, forget it. There's no way my fat fingers are doing it at this point, and I don't care. Like that guitar sits there, and every couple of weeks I grab my phone and I tune it, and I'll strum it a little bit, and I can't carry a note with a handle. And so
Sorry, I hadn't heard that one.
having an acoustic guitar does me nothing. It's just there taking up space in front of the closet. I have to move it. when I
Well,
get
if you
dressed.
tune it like every other week, that's more than what I'm doing. Gosh.
Yeah, well,
I haven't touched mine in years. I really, really want to
there's an app.
badly.
There's an app called Guitar Tuna, like the
I
fish.
think I've got that one.
Yeah, and it's it's helpful just to tune it and then put it back down.
It's like the musical version of a bottle of vermouth. Like,
Yeah,
you open the vermouth once and then you never, and then you taste how shitty it is and you just put it away and it just sits there.
Yeah, amaretto.
Thousands of bottles of vodka will go by it and the vermouth just sits there with one little drop less than when you bought it.
Yeah.
That's a good one, Zeus.
Yeah, that is.
But
a good one.
yeah, that's what I'd like to do. But see, for me, I never really tried to take it up when I had it. So for me, it's almost a good thing. Like I can pick it up now, and I've got a little bit more maturity, not a lot, but I've got more maturity. Like if I'm gonna do it, I'll dedicate myself to it more. Like when I was trying to get lessons, it was like in my 20s, 30s, and just other shit going on that was more entertaining. Xbox, PlayStation.
See if the boys want to play it, man.
My kid, Ollie, man, he plays. You've seen him, right? He plays viola. He can go walk over to the piano and just start playing stuff that he hears. He's got the ear for it.
Dude, let him use it, man. It's not doing anything.
He's not interested. It's basically his if he wants it. You got to see it sometime, man. It's the coolest guitar ever. It sounds like it fills the room with noise when you play it, and it sounds amazing. And it's got all these like Pink Floyd stickers, like from the roadie that had it. I tracked him down and found out that the guy that owned it was a roadie for he was like a session player for like Pink Floyd, Rolling Stones, you name it. It's a real.
How did you come into possession of it?
My dad bought it. There's all these pictures like the one behind me. Yeah, I got it around then. My dad got it at a pawn shop in like Blowing Rock, North Carolina.
Wow.
For like $200, and I could sell this one right now for like $2,300.
Jeez.
Wait, blowing what?
Blowing Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I always stop when I hear blowing too because I forgot what they were talking about.
Wait a minute. I have a legitimate question.
About time.
Zeus, why do you still have your 18-year-old self as your background?
Because I'm using my iPad and it's just too difficult to change the shit right now. I've got some weird stuff going on with my iPad. My laptop.
I thought you just wanted us to look at you.
I think it's great.
That's why I'm doing a podcast. I want everybody to pay attention to me.
You're like lurking over your own shoulder, which is great.
I look just the same. It's like I haven't aged.
Yeah, you should have worn like a bandana over your head tonight.
Every time you tell a stupid joke, I look at the young Zeus and his reaction where he's like,
he's not pleased. He's very pensive. But fucking handsome. I should have been a male model.
All right, who's next?
Fuck you all.
Okay, all right, whose turn is it?
All right, it's somebody else's third. I'm gonna be right back.
Oh, okay. I think it's mine. And now I'm totally interrupt. I need to go traveling again because
I've done 3.
Yeah, I mean, this is my third or fourth or whatever. But to see, and I wouldn't have put this before, but now it's totally possible. I want to see the Earth from space, even if it's like low orbit level or whatever.
Elon Musk.
Because why the hell not, man? It's like possible. I mean, 10 years from now, it's going to be like getting on a bus, right? So it's like,
oh yeah.
I think that's a doable thing. I wouldn't have said that before. I mean, seriously, why not? It's like we've been on this rock this whole time. I mean, this picture behind me was that's Earthrise from I think
Apollo.
It was from Apollo 11. Yeah, one of the astronauts took it. I don't know if it wasn't Armstrong. I don't think, but I mean, what a fantastic picture. It looks familiar, right? Because you have a landscape with this orb, but that's our planet, man. That's like where that's where the magic happens, right? That's like where everything that we know has ever occurred. And it's like in It's like in Apollo 13 when Tom Hanks puts his thumb, he's looking up at the moon and he puts his thumb over the moon and he's like, he can just cover it over. So anyway, this wouldn't have been on my list 10 years ago because I thought it would be impossible. But now it's like, yeah, man. I mean, William Shatner's going up today. Didn't he go up today?
Oh,
no, tomorrow. He's going up tomorrow on Blue Origin.
Who would you go? Is there like one billionaire that you trust more than the others to go? Like
I want all these people to go first and perfect it, and then I'll go do it. But I mean, it's they've got it down pretty well now. I mean, Shatner is such a great showman.
Branson has one. Who else? Musk has one, but I don't think Musk didn't go on it yet.
No, he hasn't gone on his yet.
No, Bezos did.
Bezos has one.
And Musk is the most forward-looking one. I mean, he's looking to Mars. He's not low Earth orbit is not exciting to him. He's looking at Mars, where you got to be.
Would you go to Mars?
Personally,
cool.
Listen, when I go to sleep, sometimes I do a lot of meditation, and like if I can't go to sleep, I start doing these meditations where I imagine that I'm getting on a ship and like blasting off into space, and I start thinking all these details. And next thing I know, I'm asleep. But when they launched the most recent Mars rover, I don't know if you guys remember, but it took off in like June of 2020, and it landed February of 21. So it was traveling the whole time. It takes 8 months or something like that to get there. And if you're a human and you're in one of these ships,
I could do that. I could sit for 8 months.
You could do it.
Zeus wants to walk for 8 months.
You could sit.
Appalachian Trail.
I'd like to think I could, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten more claustrophobic, and I don't know if I could. I mean, I know I could have, but
yeah, but Mike, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I don't know about 8 months to Mars, but if you could go up into space, like in orbit, like you said,
and come down an hour later,
that's like a same day trip,
or even Mike, even like a vacation. If you can go up there on a spacecraft for like a week, I'd
do that. Yeah, I would do that.
I would do that.
Shatner is such a showman. Like he did this. He was being asked from a reporter about like, is he concerned or something about that, going up. And he's like, you know what? When I go up there, I'm going to have my face pressed right to the glass, my nose right on the glass. And the other time I'm going to get nervous if I look out and on the fin, there's like this little gremlin pulling wires out. Like he just had it like right there, man. Like just off the cuff. And I was like, this guy is a genius. He really is.
He might have killed his wife.
Really? I don't know anything about that. Really?
They say he's an asshole, but I've not seen anything that doesn't make me like him for the most part.
He's so self-deprecating. You gotta love him, man.
Well, he figured it out, Mike. He figured it out because he was arrogant back in the 80s. And then he realized that the Star Trek fan base were his babies and they loved him.
Yes.
And then he started doing those Tech Wars books.
Yeah.
And then
they were probably garbage.
Well, he fell back in the I doubt he actually wrote them, but his name is on them.
Yeah.
And he fell back into the fold and he embraced the whole sci-fi community big time. And now he makes fun of himself. Like he used to do those spoken word songs.
Oh God, those are great.
And he thought that they were seriously good, and now he knows that they're not, but he still does them because it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just embraced getting old, I think, and he was just
it's almost like he's playing the character of William Shatner now. Like he was, he was an actor, he was William Shatner, and now he's playing William Shatner.
Yeah, well, he's a working actor. Like
there with Nimoy instead of Shatner. If you could spend the day with Shatner or Nimoy.
Definitely Nimoy. Shatner.
No, I'd pick Nimoy. He's an interesting cat.
Nimoy, when I was a kid growing up, do you guys remember In Search Of?
Did you just say he's an interesting cat?
Yes, I did.
Do you guys remember In Search Of from the 70s?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That show
Bigfoot,
used to
baby.
scare the holy crap out of me when I was a kid, man. I would watch that show and I was like,
me too, Mike. Me too.
There's there's a great video you can pull up on YouTube of Leonard Nimoy singing, and like the Leonard Nimoy persona is no emotion whatsoever. And even when he was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, he's like the stoic, no emotion. You thought he was one of the aliens, but he actually wasn't kind of guy. But you gotta just pull up Leonard Nimoy singing, and it's fucking hilarity. I think it's a song he did for The Hobbit.
Yeah,
believe it or not.
It's a Bilbo Baggins song.
Yes, it's a Bilbo
ridiculous.
Baggins song, and he's smiling through the whole thing, and it's unnerving.
What era? Like what year? Like
I'm guessing like late
Maybe
70s, early 80s. Yeah,
you gotta look that up.
and it's hilarious.
Didn't he sing if I had a hammer or if I were a hammer?
That was Shatner.
Oh, that was Shatner.
I mean, Nimoy could have also. I mean, who knows?
Maybe it
Well,
wasn't.
it is so funny to watch, but like I said, it's a little unnerving too, because he is just big toothy grin through the whole thing. And outside of that, the only other thing I ever remember from besides Star Trek was seeing him in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that one scene in the middle. By the way,
Well, he was in a bunch of
classic
stuff.
movie. What?
He was in a bunch of shows.
Yeah, Zeus, I'm posting that movie tonight when we get off this.
What's that? What movie?
I think
Jack's doing a series of.
I think the next one up might. No. It's not Invasion. That was The Weekend. I missed that. I forget what the movie is. I thought it was Invasion, but it's not.
That was on just a couple of days ago.
It's a great.
Not to go too far off, but did you ever see the Daniel Craig Nicole Kidman version of it?
No.
It wasn't bad.
I heard it was pretty good.
It was a different spin on it, not the pods, all that stuff. But
it's been done a lot.
yeah, I think there was a what was her name, Meg Tilly or Jennifer Tilly?
Yeah.
That's the screenshot for tonight.
That was the didn't Meg Tilly or Jennifer Tilly do a version of it too?
I'm not sure, but there were a bunch coming out in the 80s. I know that.
And who was in the original, the black and white one? I want to say it was a pretty big actor then too.
Yeah, he was like a TV actor. He was a pretty big actor. That's a great fucking movie. I would recommend.
It's a really good version.
The original.
If I pick my favorite, I still go with
the original. Yeah, I think it was like 54 during like the Red Scare.
I think I still go with the 80s Donald Sutherland version. That one's just.
Good one. It's a very good remake. Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, yes. Karen Allen? Was it Karen Allen?
No, it wasn't Karen Allen. It was the chick from the Dead Zone.
I need to get like a little pop-up, like tangent alert.
Yeah.
We're way off.
We're on to our number 4. Whose turn is it? Mine?
I just went.
Did we do Jack?
Nope.
Yeah, we did. I've done 3.
Okay, maybe it's my number 3.
No,
My next one. This might
the
sound
Mike just
obvious, but I just want to retire. That's on my bucket list, believe it or not.
I love it.
Make it to the point where I can just retire from work.
Okay, I'm gonna call technical foul and say that retirement is when you're supposed to start doing your bucket list.
When you what?
I said retirement is when you start your bucket list. Like that's the starting line.
Well, that's why it's a bucket list. We're all lucky to get there.
He's cheating.
No, I'm starting this stuff right away. What are you talking about? I have to wait until I retire before I can write my novel.
I tell you, it's like they always say you need so much money to retire. I mean, I don't want to do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like if I can like write and read.
You want to go
to space.
Go to space.
Go to Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu. Yeah, but you do one of those a year. Like you can
mine
one of
was
those out.
walking.
Yeah, but
I call it the social security circuit. You just.
Man, we're never going to see that. Dude, we are never going to see that money. Forget this.
No.
Put it out of your mind.
Hey, I've seriously been considering
tangent
buying
alert.
an M16 because
Tangent
they're
alert.
super cheap. So my number 4, and Jason and I are thinking about doing this. We want to start writing like 20 minutes of comedy and going up and doing like a 2-man show, taking one of those classes.
Like an improv class.
Yeah, but like next level. Like I mean, you know what? We've been doing this for a while. I think we've all proven that we can be pretty funny at times. So
Second City television kind of thing.
I don't know, just he and I, because he and I, man, I wish we could put the texts up that he and I throw back and forth, but they are definitely cancer culture fodder. We say awful
Cancer
culture.
Just checking. I got to keep up with the kids. I don't know what's new.
So yeah, that's something I really want to do, and I think I can do 20 minutes. I think I could successfully do 20 minutes of funny, and with Jason bouncing off of him, that'd be funny.
Well, if you can come up with about 10 minutes of stand-up on your own, you can go to any open mic and try to do that for starters. Yeah. I've done that.
Have you done that?
I have the feeling it's soul crushing when you fail.
How was it? How was it, Jack?
I did it 2 or 3 times, like within a couple of months. This was a few years ago. And the first time it was at the very end of the night. So it was kind of lame. The bar was mostly empty, but I just did it to get up there and break my cherry.
Yeah.
And I'd already gone up and played guitar a couple of times back when I was younger. So, I mean, I was a little more comfortable, but it's still just you and the light on you. And I did.
Can you see the audience? I know that's a weird question, but
yeah, you can. You can see them, especially the ones
if they have the lights. Usually, those comic clubs, they'll have the lights on the audience, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about that. These were at bars.
Did you get like the red light? Like, okay, you're fucking up. Get off stage.
No, you had to have a time set, and you go up there. It didn't take too long, and I wasn't really interactive, a little bit, but no, I didn't get taken off the stage or anything.
Did you get the Sandman come running out with a giant hook and
with the broom?
No,
pull you off.
Did a big hook come and pull you off the stage?
But to answer Mike's question, like it was a little nerve-wracking, Mike. I mean, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, did you do like one-liners? Did you do a story? Did you like what was your style?
No, it was like a couple of stories, but they were like they had jokes, like they had little punches in them. One was.
Did you get any like outbursts of laughter? Or?
Yeah, a couple.
Cool.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a totally awful experience, but then COVID.
Oh, so this was recently.
Yeah.
So you hit him with a bunch of your old man wisdom.
Yeah, I had a lot of old man wisdom about dating, about being Catholic and life and death and dogs. It was interesting. It was a good experience.
You can't go wrong with dog jokes.
I would do it. I would like have like one of those little recorders in my pocket. And
yeah, well, I had one guy videotape one of them, and that was when nobody was in there. It was like the end. That was like the first time I did it, and one guy offered to film it, and he was really cool. Like he said, "I'll be glad to." And then the other.
You have it?
No, it might still be on my phone, but I doubt it.
I would kill a small child to get my hands on it.
There is something about being on a stage. Like, I mean, it's intriguing to me. I don't know if I would be good, but when I was in high school, I was in a few plays, and I had normally like small stuff, but I had I think I was young Ebenezer in Christmas Carol. So even though it's a small role, there's like a whole scene where it's like young Ebenezer and his wife and everything, and it's just the two of us, and it was like 500 people in the audience, and it's so evocative. Like I was just like, you're talking and you're the only voice in the entire room, and there's all these people. It still like gives me goosebumps to even think about. But
see,
it doesn't.
I look at you
now
and I think Ghost of Christmas Future.
Yeah, could have been that. But there is an energy to it, man. When like I love watching Chappelle, like his latest.
He
His
looks
latest
more like
special.
he's got
the
more
glove.
of a heat miser look right now.
Oh yeah.
He's jacked now.
Who,
That dude is
Chappelle?
jacked. Chappelle,
No,
yeah.
not anymore.
Oh, he lost it.
Yeah.
So anyway, what was it you said, Tom? Tangent alert.
All right, who's next? I think we're back
So-
around to you, Zeus.
No, I just did. I want to do a comedy with.
Oh, okay.
for-
Then Mike.
Yeah,
Mike's up.
I gotta jump on that. Yeah, that's I didn't have that, but that would be.
These are good. You got some good ones, Zeus.
And that's something that's totally doable. You just have to do it. Like you don't have to save up money. I mean, you just have to like get off your ass and do it, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, you just gotta suck it up. Be prepared to be fucking
Well,
mocked.
That's the cool thing about our bucket list is like they're all doable. It's
Except
not
for
like-
Mike's going into space.
That's doable. Dude, just wait like
I
10
want to be
years.
cloned.
Wait.
Yeah, let us know when you're gonna do it, Zeus, and then Mike and I will show up. We'll be like those two old guys on the Muppets up in the balcony.
Stanley and
We'll just heckle you
Statler
the
and
entire
Waldorf.
time.
Yeah.
Bucket list, more like fucking list. Wow, 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 wow.
Speaking of, you said Statler and Waldorf, and for some reason that made me think of Vincent Price, which made me think of Muppets, and then I thought of Michael Jackson's Thriller. And I
That's a
watched
natural
Michael.
connection. I can totally see how you got there.
I watched Mike. Well, Vincent Price does like the
Right.
the break in Thriller. So I
Love
pulled up that video. My daughter's all into like Halloween, stuff right now. So I was like, let's watch this. And she was just like, I mean, Michael Jackson could dance like nobody, man. And he's like the werewolf and he's like a zombie and Vincent Price is in it. And it holds up. I mean, it's definitely a little dated, but
And the
it
Vincent
is
Price monologue,
fantastic. What?
or whatever you want to call it, is a monologue or whatever, voiceover.
It's like a voiceover, like 3 or 2/3 the way through the.
I memorized that as a kid. That was actually like one of the coolest things
Mhm.
ever.
Was that on the
And
record,
It wasn't
or
even
did-
that it was Vincent Price.
Yeah, it's
It
on
was
the
just-
record.
Yeah.
It is
It was-
okay.
It's on
It
the
was
radio
like the
version
voice.
of the song.
His voice was. He was the perfect Michael Jackson.
Was fantastic.
Whatever awful thing he turned into, he was a fucking tornado of talent, and
Mhm.
he had the right people around him. Like
Dude,
that video is iconic.
watch him do, and because it was the next video up. It's not like I know about Michael Jackson. I wasn't a big fan of him in the 80s because I was into like other stuff. But look, when he does Billie Jean live in front of like the 25th anniversary of Motown,
When he does the moonwalk,
he owns that auditorium, man. Everyone is on the edge of their seat. You just can't take your eyes off the guy. He was a showman. Like,
Did you ever see the Ghost video that he did?
no.
Google, yeah, look, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Look up Michael Jackson Ghost. It's like it's like a whole. It's not just the song, but it's like a whole kind of story. It's like a 20-minute video.
Was it
That's a good
was
one.
it from like a standalone or something he did later?
It was a song that he released called Ghost.
Oh, okay.
But he did a whole like Halloween video. I don't know. It was
That's
it
cool.
was awesome though.
I thought he boycotted.
did you ever see that Pepsi commercial he did? hold on. I'll do a reenactment.
All right.
You remember it
So-
now?
So the last one I have, and it's another travel one. Although
God, that was such a
I
bad
love the
joke.
open mic and the writing a book. I got to add that to mine because I feel the same way. I just didn't think of that. But traveling to Antarctica and staying there for like a week or two. So I hadn't thought about this, but when my dad's oldest brother, he's passed away now, but at one
He
point
died in
he got,
Antarctica. He froze to death.
no, he didn't freeze to death, but he was an older man. He was must have been in his early 70s or something, but he got a burr in his saddle and was like, I want to go to Antarctica. And like, he didn't take my aunt with him.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you
So
go there?
well, he was a fairly wealthy dude, but he chartered like a boat. It was like, not just him, it was like other people. And they went to Antarctica and he went there for like 2 weeks. And he was like, saying how astounding it was. And I'd look at pictures, and this is of Antarctica, now granted, not every place looks like this, but I love watching like the documentaries about the air base that's there, and there's like, you know, at any given time there's like 500 scientists that are living there, but otherwise it's fairly deserted.
I think Kurt
So
Russell was there.
Antarctica is the southern one, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But it just seems I mean, it's on,
Yeah,
again,
fuck
it's
that.
on Earth. It's something that's, you know, astoundingly beautiful and desolate and all at the same time. And it just seems like it would be a cool place to go to. And not, I mean, if you go to Antarctica and spend any time there, you're like in 1/1,000,000th, the billionth of 1% of humanity that's been there. You know what I mean? In the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah, there's because
That's
most
warm.
people aren't crazy enough to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of cold there.
See, I'm sort of along those lines. I didn't say this one, but I'd love to go on a ship and do the whole like whale watching, aurora borealis thing. That would be my number 6. I mean, I know that wasn't asked for, but I definitely like to do that as well.
And I think that's just the north, right? The aurora borealis, isn't that
Yeah,
just?
you can do that in like
Arctic?
Alaska.
Yeah, but it's not like.
Oh, Alaska's
Antarctica.
another one too. I'd love to go to
Mm.
Alaska.
Yeah,
No, I think it's the Northern Lights are only.
the
Up
Northern Lights. Yes.
Yeah.
I like
There
to
might
call
be
it the
some. I
aurora
don't know if there's
borealis,
Southern
but
Lights
You have to
too.
be
I
in
don't-
Poughkeepsie.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
But no, but yeah,
Well,
totally. I don't know if I could do Antarctica. That's one I'm not on board with. I would like, that would be the equivalent for me. I would like get out, put my foot on it, and then say, all right, let's go back.
I'm gonna
That
get
would
on a
be-
747, fly to Antarctica, and do a 10-minute stand-up special. That's what I'm
And
gonna
then
do.
write about it.
Yeah,
To the
but
penguins.
then, Mike, from Antarctica, you have to launch into space.
Yeah.
Well, he could actually just ride back up with the thing. If you
There
get
you
the
go.
reference.
Ah.
You get the
Kurt Russell.
reference.
Kurt
You see how I
Russell.
did that?
Yes. And write a book while I'm down there.
By the way, that's
There
the
you go.
third best horror film ever made.
The Thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
So
good one.
please tell me. I know this is a new.
I love it.
edition, but I gotta tell you, one of my favorite horror movies, and it's more recent, is I love 28 Days Later. I think 28 Days Later
It's a great
like
movie.
revitalized a lot of stuff.
No,
They were
28
fast.
28 Days Later is great.
Good.
The,
I'm
the
glad.
zombies were fast. That was the first time I saw that movie. I was like, "Holy crap, they're fast!"
Yeah, but but that's been done before. Like it was done in The Crazies by George Romero. They actually did it with living people. Basically, it's a zombie movie, Assault on Precinct 13, with all
Oh.
of them trying to break into the police station. Like it's basically a zombie movie.
I never thought of it that way. That's and you're talking about the Ethan Hawke, Lawrence Fishburne vehicle, right?
It's older
No,
than
it's way older than that. 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, they might have remade it, Zeus.
Yeah, there was a Lawrence Fishburne, Ethan Hawke one, but it was definitely not zombies. It was definitely like criminals. But
No, they're criminals in the original too. But the whole thing is them trying to break in windows and doors and getting shot left and right, and it's a mob versus two guys. It's the same genre. I mean, they're just not rotting.
you know, it was a great, I'm not going out on any limb with this, but I like it for different reasons probably than everybody else does, is the original Night of the Living Dead. I found
great
to be such a fascinating movie. And
Mhm.
from a civil rights perspective,
Yeah,
I love the fact that the protagonist was a black guy.
yeah. Slaps a white
And-
woman. Slaps
And
a white
yeah,
woman.
and he was with a white woman, and there was some romantic interest. They weren't stupid enough at the time, and I'm saying just because of the times to go any further with that.
Well, there
but
was
then
zombies banging on the door, so.
But I just thought,
That kills the mood.
like, short of Kirk, back to Shatner kissing Uhura, and like the first interracial kiss, that was such a big moment in like civil rights and people are people and quit fucking hating people because of a fucking level of melanin in their skin. It was a really, and it's such a tragic end. It really was a fantastic movie on so many levels.
Yeah, I actually made Dana watch that with me about 2 weeks ago, and she loved it.
And that one, my two favorite black and white movies probably of all time. Okay, I got three. The Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, which I still love I still love what friends say about if you take off the last 20 minutes, a completely dark movie. But but that one and The Incident, which if you guys, I know Jack has to have seen it, but if you haven't seen The Incident, that movie touches on every possible taboo subject at the time that you could even imagine. It's got like Beau Bridges, and it's got a pretty good what is it? Martin Sheen is in it. Yeah. It's a fantastic movie, and it is at the time. You have to admire how brave those guys were for doing that movie, because it was not popular, I'm sure. It was an art house thing. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree, Jack?
Yeah, and Martin Sheen's Hispanic, isn't he?
Yes, his name's Martin Estevez, actually.
Yeah.
Emilio's the only one that kept the name.
Yeah. Yeah,
but yeah, tangent alert. But I think we've done all five of our five, right?
I think so.
No.
So now we can just rattle off.
No, I think I did 3.
Okay.
Yeah, catch up.
Yeah, well, I did. Another one I had on the travel thing was if I could have a month off and the money to do it, I'd like to travel Europe.
Oh yeah.
Like part of me now, like, never wanted to go there, but I think just the historical context, kind of like going to these ancient civilizations, like that's literally what you got there. And the architecture is beautiful, the art is beautiful. You see different periods of history just in Europe, and so many different cultures and languages and foods. And I think it'd be a shame to die and not spend a month, maybe more than a month, just traveling the whole circle of Europe. You know, and I'm 60% Irish, English, and 40% Italian. And there's specific parts of those countries that my family's from. So I kind of thought it'd be a kick to go to those places and see if anybody looks like me, just genetically, you know. But then
so wouldn't you have to like go to Ireland and say, "Hey, have you fucked any Italian guys?"
Yeah, I think once they all came to America and they were second-class citizens, there was a lot of unified fucking
going on.
Yeah, and everybody was Catholic, so you couldn't fuck, you know. So
so that stopped them.
Yeah, and then the other one on my bucket list, and this is totally attainable too. It's a matter of doing it and doing it and doing it. I did a little bit of acting back in high school and college. And I thought, how cool would it be, like Mike said about the stage, how cool would it be to actually perform in front of people again, or to actually get placed in a film as a working actor? Like,
I'd love that.
And I think I've got New York right here. And I don't know if I'm going anywhere anytime soon. And there's no stopping anybody from just trying.
Yeah.
Right.
Great.
I could see you as a character
so
actor.
It's a total bucket list.
You've got a character face.
Yeah, I could see you.
And the cool thing about acting too is like there's roles for older people, there's roles for middle-aged guys. A lot of times they'll cast you younger than you are. It's just, or in my case, older.
And you've got
so
what
on my bucket list. I just don't think it's possible. I have a face for radio.
I don't think so. Just look at that handsome guy over your left shoulder.
Yeah, look at the guy in front of him.
But Jack, one thing I mean, you have a very awesome voice. I think you would, I think you would do well. I think you would present well in an audition for sure, depending on the character.
See, if I was going to be in a movie, I'd probably end up being the Tom Cullen from The Stand. MOON spells moon. Or I'll be like the guy running behind people on fire.
Whoa, trash can man.
Give us the go.
Okay, well, I think we've been on for a while and we've gone through our bucket list, and I think it might be time to wrap things up.
I love that he remembers it.
Yeah.
Because he totally has doddering Alzheimer old man thing going on most of the time.
Going to sleep is on my bucket list.
Mike, it's on you. You gotta stop it. Just stop the recording. Don't leave the meeting.
Okay.